Do you think navigation in .NET MAUI Shell is just for jumping between screens with nothing else? Today, we're going to take it one step further. I'll show you how to send data between views in a clear and controlled way. Right now, the app has single-page mini tools, a color generator, a word counter, useful but disconnected. What happens when you need one screen to pass information to another? To see this in action, I'll create a practical example. A start page where the user types a word, and a second page receives that term and displays its definition, pronunciation, and other properties. Let's check it out. So let's open Visual Studio, stop the execution, and head to the Pages folder to add a new item. We select .NET MAUI, the content page XAML template. We'll call it Dictionary. And I'm going to replace the code with a snippet I already have ready. If you open it, you'll see the page is basically a vertical stack layout with a label, a rad border, and a rad entry for the user to type the word to search. Note, these controls are from Telerik, so if you prefer, you can swap them for standard .NET MAUI controls with no problem. I keep them because they look more polished and give me extra functionality. I quickly fix the errors that show up and add a couple of event handlers that were missing, so everything responds when the user interacts. With the errors fixed and the main page ready, now let's create the destination page that will display the information. Again, in the Pages folder, we add a new content page XAML and call it DictionaryDefinition. We add it and I change the XAML for a snippet I already had prepared. Basically, this view is designed to show the word, its pronunciation, definitions, and details like synonyms and antonyms. So all this can be shown from the code itself. I go to the code behind of dictionary definition, which is dictionarydefinition.xaml.cs, and set the binding context equal to this. So the page exposes its properties, and I can bind them from the XAML. The next step is to integrate the main page, dictionary.xaml, into the shell structure under the text tools section. For that, I go to myshell.xaml, and under productivity tools in text tools, I add a new shell content pointing to the dictionary page we just created. If you run the application now, you will see the new tool called dictionary inside productivity tools. But if you press the search button, nothing happens. It is not connected to anything yet. What we want is for the user to jump from this page, which is part of the shell, to a detail screen showing the definition of the word. That means we need to invoke navigation to a page that is not registered in the initial hierarchy of the shell. For that, we have to register pages that are not inside the shell hierarchy, but we still want to be able to invoke them by navigation. We will do this with a method we are going to define. I am going to call it registerRoot. Remember, this must be executed before the shell is presented to the user. If you leave it for later, the root will not exist. A logical place to put it is in app.xaml.cs, which is the file I have open. Here we create or invoke the register route method, whose structure you see on the screen. We add an entry to the navigation system by assigning an identifier, which in my case is dictionary definition, but it could be any name, and we map it to the class of the page you want to open. With this, we are telling the shell, this address exists and corresponds to this page. And we will be able to navigate to dictionary definition even though it is not part of the initial menu. To test this, go to the code behind of dictionary.xaml.cs and create a method called search. All it does is check if the entered text is empty, and if it is not, it invokes shell.current.goToAsync using the route identifier we registered in app.xaml.cs. We tie that method to the search clicked and rad entry completed events. We launch the application, go to the dictionary page, and type, for example, dog. Then press search. You can see that we effectively jump to the details page, even though that page is not included in the initial shell menu. But be careful, the screen appears empty because we have teleported the user without indicating which word's definition we want to show. That is, we are not sending that data yet. Before exploring the different ways Shell has to pass data between pages, let's first implement the search logic against the free dictionary service to obtain a word's information. I have the solution ready, so I go back to Visual Studio And in the search method, I'll replace the current code. The idea is simple. Create an HTTP client, build the URL including the search term as a parameter, make the request to the REST endpoint, deserialize the response, and take the first result returned. If that first result is not no, we launch the navigation, as we already saw, but now attaching a parameter. This parameter can be named however you want. I called it word, and I passed the value I want to send to the details page. A couple of errors appeared that I fix in a moment, but I also need a model to store the response from the service. The solution is to create a folder called models, and within it, add a class called DictionaryRecord. This will be the container where we deserialize the JSON from the REST. It's nothing magical, just a bit of properties that reflect the API's structure, the skeleton of the data. I import the namespace that was missing, save, and that's it. Now the code compiles, and we can work with real objects instead of air. So from the page that sends the data, we have to prepare the receiving page to be able to read it. How do you do this without juggling? Let's open the code behind DictionaryDefinition.xaml.cs and add a public property called word. This property will be the mailbox where the term sent to us will be received. Also at the class level, we place the QueryProperty attribute, indicating exactly which property we want to populate and what the parameter name will be. In our case, both are called word. Now let's test it immediately. We go to dictionary, type dog, press search, and you can see that the detail page receives the value correctly, confirming that navigation with parameter passing works as expected. Now, sometimes you will want to send more than one piece of data to the detail page. And for this, the cleanest way is to implement the IQueryAttributable interface. How is this done? Well, you need to go to the page that will receive the information, in our case, dictionary definition, and you have to add IQueryAttributable to the class. You can comment out the previous property for now. This interface requires you to expose a method called applyQueryAttributes, which receives a dictionary, query, where each key is the parameter name and the value is the object sent. Think of it as a labeled suitcase. The label is the key and inside is the content. Before implementing the methods, add the properties in the class that you will use to store the different values from the search. Then, in applyQueryAttributes, read the entry with a key definition, cast it to dictionary record type, and break down that object to fill your properties. The word, pronunciation, definitions, synonyms, antonyms, etc. With this, you have a robust way to receive complete beta packages from the source page. Perfect. Now that the definition page is ready, it's time to send the payload. We go back to dictionary.xaml.cs, and inside the search method, we replace the previous code with a version that does the usual. It calls the service, deserializes the response, and obtains the first result, but with one extra step. We create a dictionary called parameters, which matches the signature that the details page expects. We use the key as definition, exactly the name we registered on the other page, and assign the value first definition, which contains the list of dictionary record with all the information about the word. Finally, we use shell.current.goToAsync to navigate to dictionary definition and pass that dictionary of parameters. There's just a little more complexity in the code, but the result is much more flexible. You can move complete objects between pages without getting tangled up with lots of properties. Let's launch the application. Let's go again to dictionary and try with any search. You can see that the details screen fills with the entry for dog, the definition, pronunciation, synonyms, antonyms, and more data that help better understand the word. In summary, we have confirmed at runtime that Shell not only allows us to navigate between two pages, but also easily and reliably transfer information between them. In the next video, we'll get hands-on with the native search handler of .NET MAUI Shell. I'll show you step-by-step how to create and integrate a search handler or search bar, bind it to both local and remote data, filter results, offer suggestions, and make it work as if it's part of the app skeleton. It won't just be a nice-looking control. We'll see how to connect search logic, optimize queries, and display results smoothly. If this video was helpful to you, subscribe, leave a like, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episode. See you in the next video.